Hi, welcome to Hawkesbury Regional Gallery Art Online School Holidays version. So what we're going to be making today is a cute little giraffe just using a paper cup and a toilet roll. So most of you probably have those at home, and also you can download the instruction sheet off our website, and that has all the steps as well, or you could just watch the video. Alright, let's get started. Alright, step one is take your paper cup. It doesn't matter if yours isn't brown or if it's white, because we're going to paint it later anyway. So the first step is we're going to cut 8 lines in it. So this one's easy. See how mine has some little ribs there? So I'm just going to cut along those. Now we're not going to go all the way to the top. We're going to stop about a quarter of the way down. And then a little bit of a space apart, I'm going to do another one. Like that. And then turn around. I'm going to do another one. Cut. And then one more, making sure I get them kind of evenly spaced. Like that. And then what we're going to do is between two of them, we're going to do a bit of a curve like that. And that's going to be the belly. And see how this one curves that way, and the next one curves the other way. This one curves out, and this one curves up. So that way we'll see the difference between the belly between the legs, or bit between the front legs or the back legs. So I'm going to do a curve going up here, like that. Then the same on the far side. Make our belly. It's a little bit tricky with the cardboard. Like that. So we've got two sides the same. And now the next one, we're going to cut in between those. So see, fairly evenly spaced, like that. This is going to make our legs. Now this time, I'm cutting the curve going the other way. Like that. Now make sure you don't throw out any of our offcuts, because we're going to need those in a moment. And do the other legs. Now you can see I'm using the rolled edge of the cup, and that's going to become our cute little feet there. So don't cut those off either. So same thing, curving up, like so. And there you go. That's our giraffe body. So the next step we're going to do is you can print this off on our sheet. I have a little one prepared here from before. You'll see I have a little design for his face. So you can cut that out. Well, first of all, draw it onto one of these shapes. You can see one of our leftover bits. So make sure it's going to be big enough so you can try them on for size to see which one's going to fit. And then you can draw it or trace it over the top until you have your little head drawn out. And then all you're going to do is then cut around that edge, like so. If you find it a little bit tricky, you might want to get an adult or someone that's there to give you a hand cutting, because the cardboard's just a little bit tricky, but this will be the trickiest bit of the whole thing. Everything else is super easy. Cutting around, make sure I don't cut my ears off. Like that. Don't worry if it's not too neat. Sometimes things look cute when they're not absolutely perfect. Now you can see once again I've left the edge of the rim of the cup as that becomes part of the feature. Trimming there, and I'm just going to cut that bit in between. There we go. And then I have my little giraffe's head. Just move some of my scraps to the side. Now the next thing we want to do is take our toilet roll, and we're going to cut right down the side like so. Now we don't need to use all the toilet roll. We only need enough to roll up and make your giraffe's neck. So have a little practice first before you cut it, just to make sure, sort of give it a little roll. Sometimes it helps if you've got a pencil or a texter handy. Try rolling it around it just to make it a little bit smaller and a bit tighter circle, like so. And that helps you see where you're going to cut. You can see I've already rolled it a little bit. Make sure you get it nice and tight. And that's about about the thickness you want, like that. And then if you've got some glue, you can come back and stick it with your glue. Now, with your glue, if you've got glue like this, it takes a little while to dry. So sometimes it helps if maybe you've got paper clips, you could clip it onto either end just to hold it in place while it dries. Or you might be able to put something that's a little bit heavier sitting on top just while it dries as well. Okay, and then once it has dried, what I want you to do then is to look at your body and decide whether you want this to be the front or this side to be the front. Sometimes it doesn't matter, it just depends on where you cut your legs. And then I want you to do a little bit of a mark, like so, and then you're going to cut that out. And that's where we then, once it's dried, stick our head into our body. So you can see this one here where I've stuck it in. I've used a bit of glue there to hold it into place. And then once you've got that in place, you can then stick your head on top. So with the head, I've actually bent it a little bit. You can see here it's got a little bit of a curve, and then I've pushed the little ears forward a little bit, and that's just to give a little bit of shape to his face. And also too, what you may want to do is I've actually trimmed the angle of my neck, so you can see where here it's quite flat, whereas what you might want to do is just trim a little bit of an angle, and that way your head, when you stick it, will sit much flatter. So we don't want him to be sitting completely flat, we want him to be at a little bit of an angle, so he's looking down at you when he's stuck on. Okay, so that's those steps, and then what you need to do next is to make a little tail. All I did was take one of my little off-cut bits, once again leaving the rim there, and then just cutting all the way down. You can make it a little bit thinner than the legs, and with that, have it tried on for size. So I've got my body here. This is another one I prepared. If you have a look at it, you don't want the tail to be too long. So see, that's a little bit long, so you can just trim it to whatever size you think looks best. And then stick that in place, and that's going to be your little tail. So once you've stuck all your components in place, give that a clear away, then you can give your giraffe a paint. So I've used a bit of this colour when I painted mine, but you don't have to use that colour. You might want to make yours more orange or some other really random colour. It can be completely up to you what colour you're going to paint your giraffe. And then, as you can see here, I've painted some shapes on. See, they've got like kind of like not a perfect circle, they're a little bit more squarish than a circle, and you can see I've gone a little bit smaller down the legs, on the neck, and on the tail. Now, if you wanted, you could add some extra stuff to your giraffe too. If you got a piece of white paper and you cut lots of little strips into it, you could stick it on the back of his head and have, you know how they have fur down the back of their neck? That would add an extra element, but that's only if you feel like you want to do that. And you can see here on his little face here, I've only drawn some simple stuff there. But you could add eyes, you could add eyelashes as well, you could do whatever you like. Don't forget, it's your giraffe, so you can make him as amazing as you like. Okay, so we look forward to seeing what you come up with, and enjoy making your giraffe craft. See you next time.